Hope you're enjoying the drive. A little history on the car. My mom bought this car back in 1985 or 6. It was originally owned by a co-worker of hers that bought it new. Her co-worker kept getting pregnant, and about the third kid she decided that she wasn't going to have an opportunity to really drive this car much anymore, so she mentioned it to my mother, and my mom bought it. It had about 9,000 miles on it then, in 1985 or 6. I was about 13 years old at the time. I learned to drive on this car. I actually drove it a fair amount when I was about 14. Had my learner's permit, to and from school, to and from work type thing. So, been around the family a long time. My mom's ready to sell it. It's got just under 16,000 miles on it right now. Obviously, it's went through some periods of sitting for long periods of time, and that last time it sat wasn't real good for it, so there was a fair amount of age-related problems. You know, it wouldn't start. You did get it started, it wouldn't run. Brakes were kind of seized up, things like that. So I had a good friend that was very familiar with the old British cars, had a couple himself, and he's very mechanically inclined. So he went completely through the car, replaced anything and everything it needed, all parts from Long Motor Company, Victoria British, whatever they're called, is local to us here in Lenexa, Kansas. So I'm just going to mention a few things. So the motor was pulled, gaskets were all replaced. There wasn't any real machine work done. I think he honed the cylinders, put new rings on it, pretty much just put the motor back together and cleaned it up. Went through the cooling system. It's got a new radiator. Went through the brakes. It's got all new brakes all throughout. A few lines were replaced. Clutch got replaced. Trying to think what else here. It's got a relatively new muffler on it. It had the original 1976 tires on it. Those all got replaced, with the exception of the spare. Spare is still original. Really, there hasn't been any substantial suspension work or anything like that done. Nothing's really been reconditioned in the interior. This is 100% original. Seats have never been upholstered, dash has never been touched, carpet's never been touched. It's got the original stereo in it. As far as I know, that's what came in it when we got the car in '85. That's what was in it. Everything works on the car. Turn signals, lights, gauges. It starts very easily. Pull the choke, it'll turn over just a few times and it'll start right up. Then you can start easing the choke closed, and it idles nice and smooth from there. It's a nice driving little car. It brakes smooth, shifts smooth, clutch is smooth, it drives straight. Here it is with my hand off the wheel, and it drives straight. So it'll make somebody a nice little car. The top is original as well. The top has never been replaced, never been off the car. We have a hard top also that the original owner provided us. It's not an original MG top. It's got a Snug Top logo on it, so I assume it's aftermarket. We've never had it on the car. We think we're missing a couple pieces of hardware to actually fasten it. We've set it in place before just to kind of see what it looks like, but it's pretty much been hanging upside down from the ceiling of my mom's garage since day one. So it's never been used. All right, well, thanks for going for a ride with me. I'll do a walk around video and maybe talk about it a little bit more.